The huge silver ship hung in Earth's orbit, hidden behind a cloak that bent light around its smooth hull. Inside, Zylter looked at the blue planet through the main viewing window. His four-fingered hand pressed against the clear material as he studied the world below. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he said to no one in particular. The command center of the Seeker of Wisdom was quiet as the 6 other Valorans worked at their stations. They all had the same pale blue skin, large eyes, and slender bodies. After traveling for 3 years from their home system, they had finally reached their destination. "The third scan is complete," said Dexcor, the science officer. "No sign they have detected our presence." Zylter nodded. "Good." The council was clear. "We observe only. No contact." The Valoran Collective had been watching Earth from afar for decades. They had intercepted radio signals, television broadcasts, and internet communications. What they found both confused and fascinated them. Humans were technologically primitive compared to the Valorans, yet they created art, music, and stories with a richness the aliens couldn't understand. "I don't see why we traveled so far to study these creatures," said Loxven, the ship's doctor. "They spend most of their time fighting each other." Zylter turned to face the crew. "That's exactly why they're interesting. The Valoran Collective has had peace for 2,000 years. We've mastered science and technology. Yet our population declines each year. Our artists create nothing new. Our scientists make only tiny advances." He walked to the center display and brought up images of Earth. Children playing, people dancing, crowds cheering at sports events. "Humans feel things we don't anymore. They have something we lost long ago." The ship's computer announced. "Target observation zone selected." The display changed to show a small town surrounded by forests and hills. A sign read, "Welcome to Pinewood, population 8,543. "This community represents an ideal cultural sample," said Miralyn, the team's anthropologist. She was younger than the others, on her first research mission. Small enough to study thoroughly but large enough for social complexity. Zylter nodded. "We'll focus our observation here then. Miralyn, prepare for surface deployment." Miralyn's eyes widened. "Me? On the surface? You've studied their languages and customs for years. Your DNA has been modified to appear human. You're the obvious choice." Miralyn felt both excited and nervous. No Valoran had ever walked among humans before. "When do I leave?" she asked. "Tomorrow. The Council has approved a 6-month observation period." Far below, in the cool night air of the North Pacific, the U.S. Vigilant cut through dark waters. On the bridge, Captain Noah Harris studied the radar screen with tired eyes. "Sir, we've got that strange reading again," said the radar operator. Harris looked over the young sailor's shoulder. For the 3rd night in a row, something large had appeared briefly in low Earth orbit before vanishing. "Probably space junk," Harris said. "Or a satellite changing position." "Yes, sir. But it's big, whatever it is." Harris nodded. "Log it and send the data to command. Not much else we can do from down here." He walked to the window and looked up at the stars. After 20 years in the Navy, he thought he'd seen everything. But lately, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was different up there. In Pinewood, Sam Bennett graded papers at his kitchen table. The high school science teacher rubbed his eyes and checked the time. Past midnight. His apartment was quiet except for the soft ticking of the clock. He didn't notice the faint light that briefly flashed in the night sky, or know that soon a new neighbor would move into the empty apartment next door. A neighbor who would change everything he thought he knew about life in the universe. Above it all, the Seeker of Wisdom continued its silent watch, its crew unaware that their mission to understand humanity would soon lead them to a truth they never expected to find. The woman who called herself Marie Lane stood in front of the bathroom mirror in her new apartment. She touched her pink skin, ran fingers through her brown hair, and blinked her green eyes. The transformation was perfect. No human would suspect she was actually Miralyn, a Valorant researcher from a star system 26 light-years away. Appearance adaptation complete, she said into the small device on her wrist. Beginning day one of surface observation. She practiced smiling, frowning, and looking surprised. Valorans rarely showed emotions on their faces. These human expressions felt strange to her muscles. Marie picked up the keys to her apartment and stepped outside. The morning sun felt warm on her new skin. She had studied Earth weather reports, but experiencing actual sunlight was different. A door opened next to hers, and a man stepped out. He had dark hair, glasses, and carried a bag full of papers. "Oh, hello," he said, noticing her. "You must be the new tenant. I'm Sam Bennett, apartment 4B. Marie quickly accessed her training. Humans valued eye contact, smiles, and firm, but not aggressive handshakes. She performed all three. Mary Lane. Just moved in yesterday. Sam smiled back. "Welcome to Pinewood. Where are you from?" Marie gave her prepared answer. "Chicago. I needed a change of scenery." "Well, you certainly got it. Pinewood's about as different from Chicago as you can get." Sam checked his watch. "I'd love to chat more, but I'm running late for work. I teach science at the high school." Science. Marie's interest was genuine. The Valorans had chosen this location partly because the local school had won several regional awards. They wanted to understand how humans taught their young. Physics and chemistry. Not the most popular subjects, but I do my best to make them interesting. "I'd like to hear more about that sometime," Marie said. Sam looked surprised but pleased. "Most people's eyes glaze over when I talk about my job. But sure, I'm free for coffee this weekend if you want the local tour." After Sam left, Marie walked through the town of Pinewood. She recorded everything with the scanner hidden in her watch. The small shops, the park where children played, the community center with its bulletin board full of announcements. The Valorans had chosen this town because it was considered average by human standards. But Marie found nothing average about it. The colors were brighter than in the simulations she had studied. The sounds were more complex. And the smells, cooking food, car exhaust, flowers, pets, overwhelmed her enhanced senses. In the afternoon, she visited the library. The old building housed thousands of physical books. This confused Marie. The Valorans had stopped using physical media centuries ago. Why would humans keep these inefficient paper objects when digital storage was available? The librarian, an older woman named Betty, saw her looking confused. "Can I help you find something, dear?" Marie hesitated. "I'm new in town. I'm just exploring." Betty smiled. "Well, welcome to Pinewood. Are you a reader?" Yes. Marie thought of the thousands of Earth books she had studied during her training. "What do you like to read?" Mary wasn't prepared for this question. Valorans didn't have likes. They had purposes, functions, missions. The concept of personal preference was almost foreign. "I'm not sure," she admitted. Betty's smile grew wider. "Oh, those are my favorite readers to help. Someone open to anything." She led Marie through the stacks, pulling out various books. "Try this one. And this. Oh, and definitely this." Marie left with 5 books of different types: a mystery, a romance, a science book, a history, and a book of poetry. That night, in her apartment, Marie began reading. She was supposed to be analyzing human language patterns, but instead found herself simply enjoying the stories. When Sam knocked on her door the next morning to invite her to breakfast, she realized she had read all night without sending a single report back to the ship. This wasn't part of the mission plan. But as she told the waiting Sam she would join him in 5 minutes, Marie decided that some aspects of human behavior required more direct participation to understand. Above Earth, Zyle Tur waited for the daily report that never came. 3 months passed. Marie became a familiar face in Pinewood. She took a job at the local coffee shop, rented books from Betty every week, and spent many evenings talking with Sam. Her reports to the asterisk seeker of wisdom asterisk were now regular again, but shorter than Zylter wanted. On the ship, the research team reviewed her latest data. "Look at these brain scans," said Dexcore, pointing to the screen. "When humans face problems, their neural patterns change. They adapt in ways our brains don't." Zylter studied the colorful images. "Is this why they create so much art and music?" "I believe so. They process emotions differently than we do." Dexcore brought up a molecular model. "And I've identified a protein in their brains that we don't have. It might be linked to their creativity." Loxfen, who had been doubtful about the mission, now looked interested. "If we could isolate this protein, we might understand why our society is stagnating," finished Zylter. "The Council will want more data, detailed samples." On the communication screen, he typed a message to Marie. "Require deeper biological analysis of human subjects. Prepare for specimen collection." Down on Earth, Marie didn't see this message right away. She was helping Sam prepare for a science fair at the high school. Students had set up projects throughout the gym, and parents walked around looking at their work. "You've been a huge help," Sam said as they put up the last sign. "The kids are excited to show off what they've learned." Marie smiled. She had grown comfortable with human expressions. Sometimes she even made them without thinking. "I enjoy it," she said, realizing it was true. On her world, education was solitary and efficient. Young Valorans learned from computers, not teachers who cared about them. There were no science fairs with proud parents. A young girl approached them, nervous. "Mr. Bennett, I can't get my volcano to work." Sam knelt down to her level. "Let's take a look, Lily." Marie watched as Sam fixed the project, explaining each step to Lily. The girl's face lit up when the small volcano finally erupted with red foam. She hugged Sam before running to show her parents. Something strange happened inside Marie. A warm feeling spread through her chest. The Valoran research team had modified her body to appear human, but they hadn't expected her to feel human emotions. Yet here she was, experiencing what humans called happiness at a child's joy. That night, back in her apartment, Marie finally checked her messages. When she read Zylter's orders, the warm feeling disappeared. "Specimen collection," she whispered. That meant taking humans to the ship for testing. Invasive procedures, perhaps even dissection. Marie looked out her window. Across the street, Sam was walking his elderly neighbor's dog, something he did every evening. The old woman couldn't manage the energetic dog herself, so Sam helped without being asked. Marie's communication device beeped with another message. "The Council has approved extraction of 5 human subjects for study. Select ideal specimens from your observation area. Extraction team preparing." Marie's hands shook. 5 people from Pinewood would disappear, taken to a lab millions of miles away. People she now knew. Betty from the library. Lily and her science project. Sam. She thought about Sam, how he stayed late to help struggling students, how he spent his own money on classroom supplies, how he explained complex ideas with patience and humor. The Valorans wanted to understand what made humans special. Marie was beginning to see it wasn't something you could find in a brain scan or a protein. It was in how they treated each other, how they cared. Her training told her to obey orders without question. But for the first time in her life, Marie wasn't sure she could do that. In orbit, Zylter prepared the extraction team, unaware that his perfect observer was having dangerous thoughts. 200 miles above Earth, astronaut Lisa Rodriguez performed maintenance on the International Space Station's solar panels. As she worked, something caught her eye. A brief shimmer against the blackness of space, like heat rising from a road on a hot day. "Houston, are there any other objects in our orbit path today?" she asked through her radio. "Negative, Rodriguez. You're clear for the next 12 hours. What are you seeing?" Lisa frowned. "Probably nothing. Just a weird light effect." But she took photos anyway. When she returned inside, she sent them to NASA with her report. 3 days later, in a windowless room at the Pentagon, analyst Frank Powell pinned those photos to a board already covered with similar images. He added a map marked with red dots showing radar anomalies, strange atmospheric readings, and unexplained electronic disturbances. "It's the same pattern," he told Colonel Ryan Carter. "Whatever this is, it's been watching us for months, and it's focusing on this area." He circled a small region on the map. "Pinewood," Ryan read. "Population 8,543. What's special about it?" "Nothing obvious, but that's where most of the unusual readings are concentrated." Ryan nodded. "Set up a small team. Keep it quiet. I'll head there myself." In Pinewood, Marie walked through the park with Sam. Children played on the swings while parents chatted on benches. Marie still had not responded to Zylter's extraction orders. Each day, more messages arrived from the ship, each more urgent than the last. "You seem distracted," Sam said. "Everything okay?" Marie tried to smile. "Just thinking about some difficult decisions I need to make." Sam stopped walking. "You know, my students think I'm just a science teacher, but my real job is helping young people figure out tough problems." He sat on a bench and patted the spot beside him. "Want to talk about it?" Marie hesitated, then sat down. "It's complicated. My employers want me to do something I'm not comfortable with. Something illegal." "No, but it would hurt people." Sam looked at her seriously. "Then don't do it. Simple as that." "It's not that easy. Where I come from, we follow orders. It's how things work." "Where exactly are you from, Marie? Sometimes you talk like you're from another planet." Marie looked away. If only he knew how right he was. "I should go." She stood up quickly. Back in her apartment, Marie found a new message waiting. "Extraction team arrives in 48 hours. Prepare target list immediately." She had to make a choice. As she considered her options, a knock came at her door. She opened it to find a tall man in casual clothes. "Ms. Lane, I'm Ryan Carter. I'd like to ask you a few questions." Marie's enhanced senses detected the gun hidden under his jacket. "What is this about?" "Mind if I come in?" He didn't wait for an answer, stepping past her into the apartment. "You arrived in Pinewood 3 months ago. Before that, there's no record of Marie Lane anywhere." Marie's pulse quickened. There must be some mistake. Ryan walked to her window and looked out. Strange lights in the sky, electronic disturbances, and at the center of it all, a woman with no past. He turned to face her. "Who are you really, Ms. Lane?" Before Marie could answer, her communication device beeped loudly. Ryan's hand moved to his gun as a holographic message appeared in the air between them. "Final notice. Extraction team dispatched. Coordinates locked on your location. Stay in place." Ryan's eyes widened as he stared at the alien text floating in Marie's living room. "What the hell is that?" Marie made a split-second decision. "The truth. And if you want to save the people of this town, you need to listen carefully." In orbit, the extraction shuttle left the Asterisk Seeker of Wisdom Asterisk, carrying 4 Valorant soldiers and collection equipment. Their mission: return with 5 human specimens, by force if necessary. The countdown to first contact had begun. Ryan Carter stared at Marie, his hand still resting on his gun. "Start talking. What are you?" Marie took a deep breath. "I am not human. My real name is Mira Len. I come from a planet called Valera, 26 light years from Earth." Ryan laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Right. And I'm from Mars. I can prove it." Marie touched the device on her wrist. Her skin rippled and changed color, turning the pale blue of her natural form. Her eyes grew larger, her fingers longer. In seconds, the human disguise was gone, replaced by her Valorant appearance. Ryan stumbled backward, knocking over a lamp. "Jesus Christ. We've been studying your planet for decades," Marie explained, returning to her human form. "I was sent to observe up close, to understand what makes humans different from us." "Different how?" Ryan's voice was steady despite his shock. Your emotions, your creativity, your humanity. My people lost these things long ago. Ryan's phone rang. He answered without taking his eyes off Marie. Carter here. He listened for a moment. How long? Understood. Keep them at a distance. He hung up. That was my team. They've detected an object entering Earth's atmosphere, coming right for Pinewood. Friends of yours. Marie's face paled. The extraction team. They're coming for human specimens. 5 people from town. Specimens? You mean test subjects? Yes. My people want to understand why humans have qualities we lack. Ryan's expression hardened. So you're saying aliens are coming to kidnap American citizens for experiments? He pulled out his gun. Not happening. I agree, Marie said quickly. That's why I'm telling you this. I want to stop them. Ryan studied her face, looking for deception. Why would you turn against your own people? Because I've learned things in these months. About humans. About myself. Marie struggled to explain feelings she barely understood. You treat each other with kindness without reason. You help strangers. You create beautiful things just because they bring joy. A loud knock at the door interrupted them. Marie tensed. Marie. It's Sam. Can we talk? Ryan motioned with his gun. Get rid of him. Marie opened the door slightly. Sam stood there, looking worried. Hey, he said. I was concerned after you left so suddenly. Are you okay? I'm fine. Just busy right now. Sam frowned. Is someone else in there? Is everything all right? Before Marie could answer, a blinding light flashed outside, followed by a deep humming sound. The extraction shuttle had arrived. They're here, Marie whispered. She grabbed Sam's arm and pulled him inside, closing the door. Sam, there's no time to explain everything. But you're in danger. We all are. Ryan was already at the window. Military aircraft will be here in 10 minutes. Not soon enough. The humming grew louder. Car alarms started blaring throughout the neighborhood. What's happening? Sam asked, confused and frightened. Marie looked at both men. The extraction team is looking for 5 humans to take back for study. They'll target people I've observed closely. She turned to Sam. That includes you. Ryan checked his gun. How do we stop them? We can't fight them directly. Their technology is too advanced. But I know their protocols. Marie grabbed her communication device. If I can contact Zyltur and convince him to abort the mission. And if you can't? Ryan asked. Then we run. Get as many people away from here as possible. Sam still looked bewildered. Mary, what are you talking about? Who's coming? Outside, the humming stopped. A soft thud indicated the shuttle had landed in the park. Marie looked at Sam, her eyes full of regret. The people who sent me here. They came to understand humans, but they're going about it all wrong. She took his hand. And if we don't stop them, they'll take you and others to a laboratory millions of miles from Earth. Sam stared at her, finally beginning to understand. You're not from Chicago, are you? No, Marie said softly. I'm not even from this world. 4 Valoran soldiers stepped out of their shuttle, hidden in the trees at the edge of Pinewood Park. They wore armor that bent light around them, making them nearly invisible. Only a slight shimmer in the air revealed their movement. Locate the observer, ordered the lead soldier, Krelvos. Then find the human specimens. In Marie's apartment, Sam was still trying to process what she had told him. You're an alien. From another planet. Yes, Marie said. And more are coming. We need to move. She turned to Ryan. Your team is close. Ryan nodded. Surrounding the town, but they're under orders not to engage until I give the word. I need to know what we're dealing with. 4 soldiers with advanced weapons. They can stun or kill. Their mission is to capture, not harm, but they'll eliminate threats. And the big ship. The one my analyst spotted. The Asterisk Seeker of Wisdom Asterisk, a research vessel with 20 crew members. Sam looked between them. This is insane. Why would aliens want to kidnap people from Pinewood? Marie touched his arm. Because we don't understand you. Humans have something we lost generations ago. The ability to feel deeply, to create, to connect. So they want to experiment on us, like lab rats. Sam pulled away from her. And you've been helping them. I was, but not anymore. Marie looked out the window. I've learned too much about what makes humans special. It can't be studied in a lab. Ryan checked his phone. My team reports movement in the park. Thermal signatures, but nothing visible. Cloaking technology, Marie explained. I need to contact the ship. She activated her communication device. Zylter, this is Miralyn. Abort the extraction mission. I repeat, abort. After a moment of static, Zylter's voice responded. Explain yourself, observer. This approach is wrong. Taking humans by force will damage everything we came to study. The Council has approved this action. Your objection is noted but overruled. Marie's face fell. Then I have no choice but to stop you. Traitor, Zylter hissed before cutting the connection. Ryan was already moving toward the door. We need to evacuate the people near the park. They'll be tracking me, Marie said. I should draw them away. No, Sam said suddenly. You're our only advantage. You know how they think, how their technology works. A loud crash came from outside. They rushed to the window. A car had been flipped over in the street. The invisible soldiers were getting closer. We need a plan, Ryan said. I can have military aircraft here in minutes, but what can they do against an enemy they can't see? Marie thought quickly. The soldiers rely on their cloaking. But it has a weakness. Water disrupts the field. Sam's face lit up. The fire hydrants. We can use them to expose the aliens. And then what? Ryan asked. My people avoid conflict. They haven't fought a war in 1,000 years. They're scientists, not warriors. So if we show resistance, they might retreat. But Zylter won't give up easily. He'll report to the Council. A plan formed. Ryan called his team and gave orders. Sam grabbed his keys. My truck's out back. We can use it to reach the park faster. As they headed for the door, Mary paused. Sam, I'm sorry I lied to you. We'll talk about that later, he said. If we survive this. They raced down the stairs and into the alley behind the building. Sam's truck was there, but so was one of the Valorant soldiers, shimmer barely visible in the dim light. Don't move, Marie whispered. Their sensors detect motion. The soldier turned toward them, raising a weapon. Mary stepped forward, changing to her Valorant form. Krell, stop. These humans are under my protection. The soldier hesitated. Observer Miralyn, you've gone native. The Council warned this might happen. The Council is wrong about humans. You don't need to take them by force to learn from them. Krell raised his weapon again. Step aside. I have orders. Ryan's hand tightened on his gun. Sam looked for anything to use as a weapon. Mary stood her ground. If you do this, you'll never understand what makes humans special. You'll destroy the very thing you came to study. For a moment, no one moved. Then sirens wailed in the distance. Help was coming. The standoff continued as the fate of first contact hung in the balance. The standoff lasted only seconds before Ryan acted. He fired his gun at the fire hydrant next to the Valorant soldier. Water burst forth, spraying in all directions. As the water hit Krell, his cloaking device failed. The alien became fully visible, his blue skin and armor now exposed for all to see. Go, Ryan shouted, pushing Sam and Marie toward the truck. They jumped in, Sam starting the engine as Ryan fired more shots to keep the soldier back. The truck roared down the alley. Head for the park, Marie said. We need to stop the other soldiers before they take anyone. Above them, The night sky suddenly brightened. The asterisk seeker of wisdom asterisk had decloaked, now visible to everyone on Earth. Its massive hull reflected the moonlight, a silver disk hanging impossibly in the sky. "My God," Sam whispered, seeing it through the windshield. All over Pinewood, people came out of their homes, pointing at the sky in wonder and fear. Cell phones recorded videos that were already spreading across the internet. The secret was out. On the ship, Zylter watched the chaos with alarm. This was not the plan, he told his crew. We were supposed to remain hidden. "Sir," said the communication officer, "human military aircraft are approaching, and their global defense networks have detected us. Weapons are being aimed at our position." Zylter's face showed something rare for a Valoran. Fear. "Recall the extraction team immediately. We need to leave." "What about Miralyn?" Zylter hesitated. "She has chosen her side." In the park, the remaining 3 soldiers were rounding up their targets. Betty from the library sat terrified on a bench, unable to move after being hit with a stun beam. Nearby, 2 other townspeople were in the same condition. Sam's truck skidded to a stop at the park entrance. Ryan's team had arrived too, men and women in tactical gear taking positions around the perimeter. "The soldiers can still see through walls," Marie warned. "They know you're here." Ryan nodded. "Then we don't hide." He raised a megaphone. "Attention. This is Colonel Ryan Carter, United States Army. You are surrounded. Release your prisoners and surrender." There was no response, but Marie could sense the soldiers' confusion. Valorans never expected resistance. "Let me try," she said, taking the megaphone. "This is Observer Miralyn. The mission is compromised. The ship has been detected. Zylter will be leaving orbit soon. If you stay, you'll be stranded." This time there was movement. One of the soldiers appeared, dropping his cloaking. The others followed. They looked at each other, uncertain. "Is this true?" asked one soldier. As if in answer, a beam of light shot down from the ship, creating a portal for extraction. The soldiers looked up, then at their captives. "Leave them," ordered the lead soldier. "We're pulling out." They released the stunned humans and ran toward the extraction beam. In seconds, they were gone, pulled back to the ship. Sam rushed to help Betty and the others. "Are you okay?" The older woman looked dazed. "Sam, what's happening?" "I saw. They weren't human." "It's a long story," Sam said gently. Marie stood apart, watching the ship still hovering above. She knew Zylter too well. This retreat was tactical, not final. Her communication device activated. Zylter's voice came through clearly. "The Council is most displeased, Miralyn. We will return to our home system and report this failure. But before we go, we demand you return to the ship. That is an order." Everyone looked at Marie. Ryan's troops had their weapons ready, unsure if she was friend or foe. Sam's face showed concern, and something else. Trust. Marie made her decision. "No, Zylter. I'm staying." "You would choose these primitive beings over your own kind. Why?" Marie looked at the humans around her, scared but standing their ground, helping each other, facing the unknown with courage. "Because they have something to teach us, something we need to learn." "What could they possibly teach us?" Zylter's voice was dismissive. "The truth about what we lost," Marie said, "about what it means to be truly alive." 6 months later, Marie stood on a hill overlooking Pinewood. The town looked peaceful in the morning light, much as it had when she first arrived. But everything had changed. The world now knew they were not alone in the universe. After the asterisk seeker of wisdom asterisk had been seen by thousands of people, there was no going back. Governments had scrambled to respond. People had panicked, then gradually accepted the new reality. "Beautiful view," said Sam, walking up to join her. "Though I bet it's nothing compared to the views on your world." Marie smiled. "Valera has 3 moons and rings like Saturn, but there's something special about Earth's single moon and your blue skies. In the months since first contact, Marie had become Earth's ambassador to the stars. Her decision to stay had shocked the Valoran Council. Zyltur had returned to their homeworld with the news that one of their own had gone native. The UN meeting is tomorrow, Sam reminded her. Are you ready? Marie nodded. As ready as I can be. The council has finally agreed to send a proper diplomatic team. No more hiding, no more secret observations. After the Pinewood incident, videos and pictures of the alien ship had spread worldwide. Marie had worked with Ryan and government officials to establish peaceful communication. It hadn't been easy. Trust was fragile on both sides. Do you think they've changed their minds? Sam asked, about what they can learn from us. Some have. Zyltur, surprisingly, has become our strongest advocate. My reports about human creativity and emotion reached him. Marie looked up at the sky. He told the council that what humans have can't be studied in a lab or found in brain tissue. It has to be experienced. A car pulled up at the bottom of the hill. Ryan Carter stepped out, now wearing a general's uniform. They're here for you, Sam said. Marie took his hand. In the months they had worked together, their friendship had grown into something deeper. Will you come with me to New York? I could use a science teacher's perspective. I wouldn't miss it, Sam said. They walked down the hill together. Ryan greeted them with a nod. Ambassador, we've received word that the Valoran ship will arrive tomorrow as scheduled. The Security Council is waiting for your briefing. Marie nodded. Thank you, General. As they drove toward the airport, Marie thought about how much had changed, not just on Earth, but on Valera too. Reports from home indicated a cultural upheaval. Young Valorants were challenging the old ways, inspired by what they had learned about humans. Art was being created again. Music played in public spaces for the first time in centuries. Schools were being redesigned to encourage questions rather than just answers. Penny for your thoughts, Sam said, using an expression she had come to love. I was thinking about why my people wanted to understand humans. We thought we were superior because of our technology and our ordered society. We thought we could learn your secrets and use them to fix what was wrong with us. And now? Marie smiled. Now we understand the truth. What makes humans special isn't something you have. It's something you are. You feel deeply. You connect with each other. You create not because it's efficient, but because it brings joy. They arrived at a military airfield where a plane waited. The Valoran Council has proposed an exchange program, Marie told Sam as they boarded. Scientists, artists, teachers from Earth would visit Valera. And some of my people would come here to learn. Like a cosmic student exchange. I'd sign up for that, Sam said. Marie laughed. Actually, I already suggested you as the first candidate. Ryan joined them on the plane. We just received the first transmission from the approaching Valoran diplomatic vessel. He handed Marie a tablet. They're asking for you specifically. On the screen was a message from Zyltur. Observer Miralyn, the council has considered your reports. We came to understand humans, but thanks to you, we have begun to understand ourselves. We are ready to learn. As the plane took off, Marie looked out the window at the Earth below. Her mission had changed, but its importance had only grown. Two civilizations had a chance to help each other, to share their strengths and overcome their weaknesses. The truth she had discovered was simple. The universe was better when different worlds learned from each other.